Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Steam Powered PD. Today is Tuesday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Today we're going to answer some questions that came from different people who have been participating. This one specifically from Gail, asking about creating books using the Google tools that we have access to. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to actually go through the process of using Google Slides to create a book, or create a PDF or a version that looks like a book. We're gonna do a couple different iterations of that. One will be just like a regular piece of paper book. One will be larger, one will be smaller. We'll do brochures, we'll do different ways to view those things, all the kind of different ways to interact with Google Slides into creating a book or creating a document. We'll also add audio. We have done this in a previous show, but we'll do that as well, just to kind of remind us how we're gonna do that since then. Let me just jump on here. I want to make sure I've got the chat going. Looks like we do. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already before, if you need to do your attendance, just jump to rshu19.info and be able to click the attendance link. You scroll down a little bit and we'll go from there. We're also going to end with, yesterday we talked about using Google Earth for students to create projects, and they can share projects and create kind of geocentric types of presentations. We're going to use another tool at the very end today called Tour Builder, which we have talked about before. It's very similar to Google Earth, except for it's kind of from a different perspective. Instead of starting with the geo component of it and you're creating presentations that are connect to them, slides or images or videos, you're going the other way. And what I mean by that is you're creating like a slideshow, like a presentation, and you're adding geographical components to that aspect of it. So we'll go through that process and show you what that looks like. Here we go. Good. Excellent. All right. So we're going to start today with our, let me do a screen share. We're going to start today with Google Slides and how we're going to make that into a storybook, or what it would look like a book. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we have our regular Google slide. I just went to Drive and clicked New Slide. One quick tip, if you ever need a new slide, if I type in slides.new, that will create a new slideshow, or docs.new or sheets.new. I click slides.new, that automatically creates a shortcut basically to a new slideshow. It's just kind of a little shortcut that makes it easier to create these things. So I already have one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of some of this extra stuff. So in the upper right, I'm going to get rid of the themes. So I don't need that right now. I'm also going to get rid of these boxes in the middle here. So again, instead of deleting the text inside of them, if I click and hold down on the edge over here, I can select all at once. So again, I clicked off from it first, clicked and held down, and I'm selecting everything at once, and then I'm deleting them all at once. Okay, so if I want to make this look like a regular piece of paper, a regular 8.5 by 11, document that I would print out, or I could use kind of like a desktop publisher. Basically, in the Google Suite, there isn't a really great desktop publisher built in. Things like old-fashioned Microsoft Publisher or Canva or some other programs that do similar types of things. So this is one that we can kind of turn it into it, and it works really well for students. Most kids are really used to using Google Slides. They're pretty conversant in that. So this is an easy medium for them to do so. What I'm going to do first in the upper left here where it says File, go File, scroll down to, keep going down here, to Page Setup, change widescreen. If I click on widescreen, I'm change it to custom. Now, I'm going to do 8.5 by 11 inches. And so that's going to be the dimensions of a regular, A4 piece of paper. Click Apply. And you'll see it looks more vertical now. You can still do it if I want it on its side. If I want it landscape, but still the size of a piece of paper, I could do the same type of thing. And so now this is going to work just like it would like a desktop publisher. If I want to add images or text, I can click my text box up here. I like this. Insert text. I can, keep going from here. We can use this if I want to make newsletters or informational graphs or all kinds of stuff. I'll show you some examples of those, what that might look like. Also, if I want to insert images, so I'm going to do a text box here. Insert images. We've done this before. I can upload from a computer if I have it downloaded. I can search the web. So I'll just search for one. Let's search for a cat. So I'll grab that picture, click insert. Now the difference between inserting images from directly in here, if I insert an image directly in the image, search the web from here versus outside. If I go to regular just google.com, and I'm going to click images. And if I search for cat, you'll notice there's a lot more options here. And one of the reasons why is that these images are all copyright free. And I'll show you what that means on the other one. This is why sometimes students are like, oh, Mr. Kelly, I want to use the regular Google search. I don't want to use that one because it's a little bit more limiting. In our situation in education, we do have fair use as a defense against, like, we're using these for nonprofit things. So normally I wouldn't care, it wouldn't be an issue. I would just have that conversation with the students, explaining what the difference is. And so they understand, just because a song or an image or something's out there doesn't mean it's free to take. And so if I want to see what kind of some of these limitations are, if I want to filter down, what I have students do, if I go to Google Image Search, which I am right now, I can click on Tools over here on the right side. Okay, I have different types of scenarios here. So for example, right here it says usage rights. If I click on that, if I scroll down here to labeled for non-commercial reuse, these are going to be the most restrictive, the ones that have allowed to be used freely. And this is kind of what the same search would be already by default in a Google slideshow. So if I click on that, so there's other ones labeled for reuse, labeled for use with modifications. So there's different variations of these, but not filtered by license is the one that they'll probably use first. Some of the other kind of cool tools in here while we're doing Google image search. Click tools again. So that was usage rights. I can also search by color. So if I want to have a certain type of, let's have a black and white photo of a cat, or if I want to have a different specific color. Say I want to have one that's reddish. It's got red backgrounds, you can see here, and all kinds of different variations here. That's pretty cool. Another really important one that we kind of think about is if you look at these images here, this image right here, of course, is fine, but you can tell it's a photo, right? I don't have the cat like cut out. And this is what we think about when I talk to students. You think about almost like scrapbooking. We're taking images, layering on top of each other, putting them next to each other, moving them around. And so in this situation, if I wanted an image that would not have a background around it, what I could do is in my image search for cat, instead of right here under tools and under color, instead of red, I might choose transparent. And so now what that means is if I grab one of these pictures here, you'll notice here, it might be a little bit difficult to see on the screen, but you've seen these pictures before. Around the border, around the actual cat, it is not white, it's checkerboard. It's like a gray and white checkered. And what that means is that it's transparent around it. So if I drag that image into my slideshow, let me just make this one a little bit smaller. Hopefully that loads. Oh, I did not like that one. Let me try that again. The other thing I'm going to do, just so we can see it in the background, I'm going to change the background color because right now it's just white. So I'm just going to change it so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to click on background right here. We'll change the color. I'll do a nice gradient just because it'll make it stick out a little bit better. Cool. So now we can see it in the background difference. So let me go back and grab another image here. Let's grab one. Maybe this one's a better one that has the checkerboard around it. Let's see if this one does. Looks like it does. Cool. So I'm just going to get rid of that extra, some words that came with it, get rid of those. And now you can tell that that image, I put down the bottom here, doesn't have a square around it, doesn't have like a black, a frame around it, just has, it looks like it's just sitting there by itself. And so that's really convenient for kids. They understand how to use that. That's useful because, again, depending on what your needs are, you may not want to do that. So if I went to, how I did that, I went to Tools, change this to Transparent, and use this image. Now, here's another thing that's tricky, getting these photos from here into your slideshow. If I'm in my slideshow itself, I can click Insert Image, and I can search the web and drag it over, or insert, no big deal. But if I want to get this picture, I can drag it. However, I recommend not having students drag it, and this is why. If I drag this photo like this, click and hold down and drag it over, unless they get it exactly in the right spot, what will typically happen is something like this. They'll drag it to its own tab, and it will pull it up by itself, and it's not where it wants to be. They've got to, see, this is coming up like in a different website even. So that's not what we want, right? So they have to drag it over, click and hold down and drag it just to the right spot. It has to be just right. And again, it's really easy for students to mess that up. So I usually do not have them drag it. This is what we do. This is the easiest way I find to get those images from pictures themselves into the slideshow. if you right click or control click on the image, like on a Chromebook, you'd control click or alt click, I should say. Alt click on a Chromebook. On here, you'll notice there's different menus here. We're looking for copy image address. And we actually talked a little bit about this. Every single image, every single text, everything you see on the web has a unique image address for that thing, right? So if I right click on this or alt click on it, come down to copy image address, I'm going to click on that. Now if I come back over here, if I pasted it right now, it would look like crazy text. All it would be is a big text box of craziness. Let's see if I can paste it in here. Yeah, it would look like this. I'm like, wait a second, that's not what I wanted. That's just the link to that image. So I'm going to delete that. What you really want to do is click Insert, Image, by URL. So what that's going to do is that's that same link you just copied, except for when I click by URL, paste that in there, then you'll know you get the right one. You'll know you get the right one. Like I said, I think I've said this before, any of you who have students that are at least 6th grade on have done this. They've done this with me. 6th grade on have done, they've copied and pasted, direct links. They've put it in here. They've propped them. They've done that kind of stuff with it. So if you haven't seen them before, if you're not sure if your students know how to do that, they do. Over here. Okay. Also, we talked about this one of the other days, but I'm going to share this too. If I do want to do some more editing of the image itself, right, built into slides, right in here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Click up here on the magnifying glass. Let's try that again. There we go. Just so you can see a little bit better. Scroll up a little bit. Okay. So if I want to do some editing of this picture here, the first thing I can do, if I click on it, if I double click on it, you notice these borders here. Now, normally it just has these little black squares in the corners, excuse me, these blue squares in the corners before they turn into black bars. And I can use those to resize, right? If I grab the corners, it will stay the same width and height. The dimensions will stay the same. If I just grab the sides here, it will distort it. Okay, so we want to try to stay away from that. The other thing I have is an option here up at the top, this little ball. If I put my cursor over, it turns into crosshairs. I can turn that and I can angle it or turn it around if I want to. Okay, but let's say I want to crop a little bit. I want to cut away some of the edges. So if I double click on this, I can put my cursor over that black bar. Now it's a little bit tricky because if I get it on the blue square, it's not quite right. I've got to get it just right. I mean, it's a little bit tricky to kind of figure that out. But once you play with it, you'll get the hang of it. Click on that. And now if I pull these black bars in like this, okay, so you notice how I have the black and then I still have the original picture, kind of the frame around it. If I hit enter here, it will crop it just like as if I took scissors and cut it. Now, if I double click on it again, those things are still there. I can still undo it and bring it back, but I can crop it a little bit smaller if I want to. And I think I mentioned this before. There's a tool that I like to call the cookie cutter. It's called the input mask tool. If I click on this image once, up in the top here, you'll notice that there's different tools will appear in this toolbar. So if I click off from it and on it, things will kind of change up at the top. I'm going to click on this one right here beside the crop tool. There's a little down triangle right here. And go to shapes. Now, these are like the cookie cutters. I can crop those things out with these tools. So, for example, if I wanted this to be a circle, not a square, I can click on that little triangle, go to shapes, go to this circle, and there it is. So that's a cool picture. I put that up in the upper hand corner. Awesome. Get my text box here. One other cool thing that you may not realize you can do, let's do it with this picture down here. Let's say I want this picture, but I want it to be facing the opposite way. I'm going to zoom out again so you can see everything. So instead of looking to his left, I want this cat down here to be looking to your right. If I click on it once, so I have the blue lines here, put my cursor on that box on the right side. If I drag it across, I'm going to drag it here. Now, right now, it's just going to make it smaller, skinnier, I should say. But if I keep dragging across and keep going, like as if you're flipping it over, eventually get to the point where you'll see like a red line will kind of appear. And now, okay, there he is. Now he's kind of moved on the opposite side, just looking the other way. And so now I can move him around, move him down here. But that's how, if you want to flip that image over, you can do that right built into there. All right, so this right now is acting. Let me just add some more text here. Get to see what that looks like. We'll just go like this. This is actually acting as if it's a piece of paper, like an actual image. I could print this out. I could save this as a PDF. I could share this. Even some of these slideshows that we've seen that I know the K through 4 teachers have used, these are using all these different types of tools. They're using images, they're using these. Now, this is not formatted to be able to print out. And what I mean by that is it's 16 by 9. So if you printed this out, it wouldn't actually kind of move stuff around. That's why initially, if you go in, if you do want to print it out or make it look like a book and that idea, I would start with that file page setup first. All right. Here are some examples to be able to share them. So if I have this document, I want to share this out. I want to get this, to share this with my students or share this with my teachers or with parents and kind of publish it. I'm going to click File. Now, I'm going to publish it to the web. And what that means is it's going to look like as if it's a web page. And the reason why that's important, let's get publish here, okay, is that it's not going to format exactly correctly based on what they're looking at. What that means is it's not going to shift around. So if you publish something to the web, what could your viewer be looking, what kind of device could they be using to see it? Anything. They might be on a phone, they might be on a tablet, they might be on a laptop, a computer, a desktop, big screen, small screen, who knows? So when you publish to the web, it basically does it as a flat web page that they can scroll around and see things, but it doesn't resize things, it doesn't move things around for you, which is fine. So if I publish this out, I'll just show you what it looks like. It'll look just like this, okay? So again, depending on what your needs are, that might be perfect. That's all you need is you want to show everything at once. They can zoom in if they want, they can zoom out, they can move it around. This case only has one slide, but if they do have multiple slides, they can click next and go through. If you do want those to appear and kind of scroll through one by one at a time, you want to automatically do that, what I would do is click File, Publish to the Web, and then right in here, I would choose how long does each slide last. Let's say every 5 seconds. Start slideshow as soon as it loads. Restart slideshow at the end of it. So that means it will go through as a loop. So if I was doing, for example, a gallery, like doing like a photo album, just want to show and have it loop through, this is what I would use. I'd have a different image on every slide. I would basically go through from one slide to the next. And as I would have it loop, so by the time you're done, you're starting over again. Now, the other thing here, I'm going to copy this link here. The other thing, if I did that, if I want to have multiple slides, and if I wanted to kind of show, let me just do a couple changes so you can kind of see the differences. I'll do this one. Let's add, instead of cats on this one, we'll add a couple pictures of dogs, just so we can kind of see the difference here. Here's a dog, adorable. I'm going to just click Insert. Perfect. Now, in this one, instead of just having we went back, when we looked for dogs before, or looked for cat before, we were looking for transparent borders. Let's say we want to have a dog picture, but we want it to be moving. We want it to be an animated GIF. So I'll search for dog. I'm going to turn the transparency off for a second. So where it says color, it could be any color. Again, still under image search right now. I'm not in the image search inside of Google Slides. I'm in the image search just generally. I click Tools. I'm going to go down to Type. So right now, any types, it could be photos or line drawings or whatever. Clip art, I mean, we all know what clip art looks like. So there's dogs, kind of cartoonish type dogs. If you're looking for that, line drawings are going to be mostly black and white, but these are going to be like, just like they look like line drawings. If I go to GIF, these are going to be animations. So if I click on one of these, let's see if this one's, you'll notice, you give it a second, you'll see they're actually moving. Now they're going to loop because these are not, here we go. That's an adorable one. So let's say I want to add this little animation to my slideshow. I'm going to use the same process. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to copy image address. Go back to my slideshow. I'm going to click Insert Image. So if I click Insert Image, just so you know, that's the same thing as this little icon right here. It's supposed to be an image icon. Insert Image by URL, by the address. Paste it in there. And now there is my little animated GIF right in my slideshow. Now, again, if you're going to print these out, obviously that's not going to work. It will print out a picture, but it'll just be like one frame of it, probably the first frame. I can still apply the same cutting tools as I did earlier. If I want to double click on it, if I need to crop it a little bit, I can still do that right here. We can cut it that way. Also, if I want to put like a shape around it or turn it into a shape, I can click this little pull down. We can do a shape. We'll do this one as a little heart. You can't quite see them as well, but you get the idea. Pull it up a little bit. All right, so there's my slideshow. Now if I click File, Publish to the Web, change these to, like I said, every 5 seconds, start and end. I'm going to copy that link. If I paste this link now as its own, oops, I grabbed the wrong link. I got to go back and copy it again. Let's try that one more time. Publish to the web. Start slideshow every 5 seconds. Copy this. I'll try to paste that one. We'll wait here. It will wait for 5 seconds, and then it will automatically transition to the next one. That's cool, but that's just a cut. It just goes directly. Let's say I want to be a little bit fancier in the sense that I want to have it go from one slide to the next one, but I want to transition. So right up here where it says transition, again, I've clicked on the entire slide at once, the entire thumbnail. I can click transition here. Over here are my choices for slide transitions. There's dissolve, there's fade. It will actually, if I play it, it will show you where it goes from one to the other. So they're kind of fades from black to white. You would have, as I mentioned, let me go back here. I'm going to stop it. Slide. So if you want to do, if I was going to do a gallery like of images, like a photo kind of gallery type thing, I might put slides where it goes from one to another. There's flip, there's cube, all kinds of different cool ones. Again, you can apply those. If I applied one of those, let's do, we'll do the cube one just because. If I apply it to all slides, what that means now is that all these slides will have that animation. So if I use that same link, go back to File, Publish to the Web, choose these same options, copy that. This is the link that I would share with people. I would either copy and paste it or I'd email to people. You'll see in 3 seconds, this one should go into the cube, just like that. All right, let's add some audio. I know I've talked to a couple people about adding audio for different purposes, either background audio, they just want music playing, or if they want to talk them talking. If I wanted to just do background audio, just music just playing as students are watching my presentation or watching a book or whatever it is, what I would probably start with, if I'm looking for kind of generic music that I can use, copyright-free music, I would use YouTube Audio Library. There are a number of different music creators out there. We did a whole episode about audio creation tools. What I like about the YouTube Audio Library, just specifically, is these are all copyright free. That's why they're there to use. You can search by different types. I can search by genres. I can search by mood. So if I want happy, we'll do a happy song. We'll say I want, let's see, children's music. Right here, you can choose by duration, by instrument, that kind of stuff if you want to. I'm just going to click on one of these, click play. So I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do the one right above it. My dog is happy. Perfect. Okay, that's the one I want. So if I want this song, this audio piece, I'm going to click over here on the right and download it. This will be the same thing. We did find out the other day, we talked about Twisted Wave as an audio editor. So to record and so forth, we found that it works better if you actually download that file as an MP3 first and then upload it into Google Slide rather than going directly from Google Drive. So here it is. I downloaded that. Here's that file right here. Here's my audio, my MP3. My dog is happy. If I want to go back over here, I can click Insert, Audio. I'm going to go Upload. Actually, I'm going to upload to my drive first. Let's see if I can drag it. I'm not sure if I can or not. Let's see if I can drag it right into. Nope. All right. So I'm going to go upload it to my Google Drive first. So go back to Google Drive. Click New in the upper left. Go to File, Upload. Now this would work the same if you were recording it. If you were recording an audio piece, there it is, that you wanted to like play with it. You would just upload it the same way, right into your Google Drive. Once it's uploaded and stored in your Google Drive, you can access it from Slides. So Gail was talking about doing poetry pieces. So if you wanted a student to record using Twisted Wave, say, record audio, save it as an MP3, go into their Google Drive, click New File Upload, right here, New File Upload, and then that file now can be connected to their poem. They can have a one page that has their poem with it. Insert, Audio. There it is. It's the one I just created. Okay, so here's the audio file. You'll notice here, I'm going to zoom in again just because it gives you some formats with this file right here. So if I click on that, if I want to leave this little icon so you can see it, let's say, for example, I had a slideshow and each one had a different piece that I wanted to hear. So I want to click play and then you could hear it. That's what this little icon is going to be for right there. So if they click play, they'll hear it playing while they're doing it, no problem. If, however, you'd rather have it play automatically, let's say it's music like this is, and it's just going to play when it starts, I'm going to drag this off the screen, off the slide itself. Notice here, it's over here on the right. It's still there. They're just not going to see that icon for it. So now if I click on it, the settings that come up over here on the right, does it start playing on click or automatically? I'm going to say automatically. So when it starts the slideshow, it's just going to start playing. The volume, again, you can adjust that as needed. Usually they'll adjust that on their end, so I won't worry about that. Do we hide icon when presenting? Yes. Do we loop the audio? So if you wanted music just to be playing in the background throughout the entire thing, I would loop it. And do we stop on the slide change? The answer is no. We want it to play throughout the entire slideshow, not just for the first slide. The big thing with looping audio, I would make sure that it's not a short song or a short loop. If it's, let's say it's 30 seconds long and they're watching a long presentation, that could get pretty annoying. So you want to make sure it's long enough that's actually a full song. That all looks pretty good. Okay, so if I went back to the same thing, I'm going to go File, Publish to the Web. We'll start it, and we'll restart it. I'm going to copy that. Now if I go to a new tab, it should play. It will have audio playing, and as it rotates through. There's the music, and there's the presentation. And this will just keep turning. So you could have one of these on your website. You could have these just anywhere that you think would be worthwhile for people to see. All right, cool. Let me zoom back out here. All right, the last thing I wanted to share is a couple examples. Now I did add this to the, let me get rid of the downloads tab here. In the show notes, so if you do go to either rsu19.info or steampowerlearning.org, right on the top there should be the show notes, and you'll see a slides brochure template. Most of these things can be templates, and I just want to share how that process works. You might create a template that you want your students to use and take copies of, right? So for example, this is a brochure template. This is just a Google slideshow, just like all the other ones. The only difference is it's been formatted so the text boxes are organized in such a way that students can come in here and just replace it with their own text, right? But this will fold. If you want to do a tri-fold, like it's going to print it out double-sided and have it fold like a regular brochure, this template would work for that. So this would be the front page. This is the cover, obviously, the back page. And you can even put in, if you want, the back and, the inside, or however you want to do that, if you want to label those, depending on what your grade level you're working with. But they could come in here. That would be the inside fold. It'd open up. They could click on this and just retype the text over it, and off they go. How I would share this with students, this could be the template. And if you're using Google Classroom, I could just click share. Everybody has a copy of it, so they have their own copy. We're good to go. If I wanted to make this something where many people could see it, meaning they could take copies as needed, this is what I would do. I'm going to take this slideshow here. In the upper right, I'm going to click share. Right now, this is just share just with me, right? So I'm going to click advanced, change it from private. Right here it says private, click change. Now, if I want to share it with the world, meaning other people could take it that aren't in RSU19, that's fine. I do public on the web. If I only want to make sure only people inside of RSU19, like students and staff or whatever, in this case, I don't mind. I'll share this with the world. Anybody who has this link can take a copy of this. Click save. Click done. Okay, whoops. I'm going to copy that link right up at the top here. So this big long link that it has right here. Click done. Okay, so that link, I have a couple different options. This is the link that I just copied. All right. It ends with a slash, and it says edit. So slash edit and then a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to keep the slash. If I want to make this to be a copyable link, so anybody can just go to this link and click copy and they have their own copy of it, I'm going to type the word copy right there after the slash. And this is what it would look like. So right now, the title, would you like to make a copy of Kern Kelly's brochure template? Make a copy. So anybody that goes to that link, they don't need to sign into your account. They don't need to be connected. You don't even know them. They can just click that, make a copy, and they can take that. So if you had certain documents you wanted students to be able to take at any time and just click on that link to be able to have their own version of them, they can do that. They can share with you afterward if they want, but that's an easy way to do that. Another option right here, if you wanted to show something, you want them to see it. Let's say it's a newsletter. You want them to see, but not necessarily be able to edit it, to change it. I'm going to change that to preview. So /preview. This is what it looks like. They can see it. They can see this on a web page. You can see it and so forth, but they can't make changes. They can't make copies of it from here. Okay, so it's public in the sense that they can look at it, but they can't make copies of it. If you do want them to be able to make copies of this view here, okay, so you want to be able to see it, but also if they do make a copy, click use this template. After the word preview, so /preview, then you're going to use the word /template. So the same link as you had earlier, /preview /template. And what that does, whoops, I think I did it the wrong way. Let me try that again. Template /preview. Yep, it's the opposite way. Let's try that again. So /template /preview. Let's try that. There we go. So this means that they can see it. They can look at it first. Okay, is this the one I want? Yep, this is the one I want. If they want this one, in the upper right, they can click Use Template, and that will give them their own copy of it. So this is, again, depending on what your needs are, what you're trying to do. If I had a list of links, hey, guys, I just want you to have copies of these as you need, I would probably use the copy one. They can just go on and click on it and take their own copy of it. If I want them to see what it is first, like this, then I would use the template. That way they can see it before they actually share it. All right. So I think with that, brochure templates, like I said, these will all be listed in the show notes. I do want to pull up, if I can find it. I know I've got other examples. Open and pull up real quickly here. If I don't see it, I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, I don't see one right here. That's okay. We'll keep going. I'll add an example in the show notes just so you guys can check it out if you want to. Let's jump to the chat, see if there's any questions before I kind of go into. Okay, good question. Somebody asked about how did people, one of the 4th grade teachers, if you notice that she had the piece, looked like a piece of driftwood. And that was, I can show you the one it was. This is a great use of like a multimedia, a bunch of different types of images going on. So right here, this is Miss Chamberlain's, and that's Sebastian. And this is a beautiful slideshow right here. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a copy of it. And the reason why I'm going to do that is that way I won't affect her slideshow at all. So this will be a copy. We'll click File, make a copy. And we'll just do the selected slides. We'll just do this first slide. We don't need all the other ones. Yep, this is just a copy of it, just so we can kind of look at it and play with it without messing up her original. So the tech department has access to those in case we need to add something or remove something or whatever, but you'll see there's a lot of stuff going on here. So the first thing I'm going to do, so this is its own slide. Like I said, we just took a copy of this entire slide. I'm going to copy this one slide right here so that I can remove everything and you can just see what is there. So that's, right now, that's the blank slide what it looks like. It's an image, a background image. We've got a couple pieces up here. Now, when we created these as a template for the district, we added these, we meaning the tech department added these ourselves. I'll show you how to get to those, and if you need to remove them or move them or how you can work with them. But that's what she has as her background. To change that, you just click background. She chose an image. And I'm not going to search for it right now, but she probably searched for wooded, trees or something like that, maybe wooded path or something, and found that image. And so that's beautiful. That's great. If I want to affect these icons right here, I'm going to go what's called the master slide. So View, Master. And with the master, I'm going to click up in the background. These are the things that are by default here. So for every page, this icon is going to be there. Now that's actually a link to our rsu19.org website. These are linked to Mobimax and Envisions, things that all of our K through 4 or most of our K through 4 students use. So if we wanted to remove those or totally get rid of them, I'll highlight them here just to show you. If I remove them from here, from the master page, they're going to be removed. I'll exit out of here from every page. You notice how it's not down here on the right. If I go back to our slide here, this image right here, grab both of those to show them to you. I'm going to put them back up in here and paste them. Okay, there's actually two pieces here. One is a text box. There's a text. And this is a piece of driftwood, an image by itself. But it looks like, because it's got the border line on it, like this, it looks like you can kind of see through it. That's where if you go to the Google image search. So if I go to google.com, click image up in the upper right, images. I'm going to search for wood sign. And again, I don't know what's going to pop up here. Yeah, there we go. So wood sign. Now, if I use one of these, the problem is I'm going to get that white background with it, right? It's going to be a block. It's not going to be, transparent. What I need to do is go to Tools right here, Color, and Transparent right here. And now if I click on one of these, I don't know if you can see that in the video, but right there, this white area is actually white and gray checkerboard. It's basically transparent see-through. So I could use this image if I drag this up to my, whoops, let's go to this one here. If I put this in here, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, you can see it, but you'll notice how it doesn't have those white blocks in it, right? So I could put text on top of that, and you can see it. That actually brings me to another good point here. You notice how right now the text looks like it's behind the sign there. So any of these things, the easiest way to kind of think of them is like a scrapbook. If you're doing a scrapbook, you have things layered on top of each other all the time. So if I right click on any of these or alt click on a Chromebook, you'll see right here it says order. I can stack things on top of each other or behind each other or layers like that. So I'm going to right click on that or alt click on that, go to send to back. And now if I make this a little bit bigger here, you'll notice that the sign would work just right. There we go. And she's got a great one here. This is a great example of that, where it's got, it looks like it's kind of sitting there, which is really cool. Let's look at some of the other stuff here. This background image right here is a text box, but it has a background that has a little bit of transparency in it. So you can look through and see that. This is another cool picture that I'm sure she got as a graphic. The daily read aloud. So this icon is that video right there. So that links to that video. So if she's got a video uploaded, like a Google Drive video, link to that. That's perfect. If I want to link anything in here, I could click on this image, click on this link. It looks kind of like it's supposed to be a chain link right here. And then I could paste that link in there and that would go to it. Students can click on it and go to it. Somebody asked, how do you kind of show or hide certain slides? So if I had, let's say I have another slide. I'm going to make a new slide right here. Slide new. And this has got some text in it, but I don't want this to go public yet. I don't want my students to see this yet. Right now, these 3 slides, they can see everything that I'm showing here. If I right click, or actually if I'm highlighting it, I can just go to slide and I skip slide. And when I skip slide, that means it's not part of the presentation. So you notice it looks kind of like an eyeball. I can still work on it. I can still come in here and I can type in all kinds of text or whatever I want. It will take, if I make a slide and make it hidden, it takes under 5 minutes, but it could take a minute or 2 for it to publish. Usually it republishes every 5 minutes. So if I make the change and I go look at it immediately, it probably hasn't appeared there, but within 5 minutes, it will update on its own. And sometimes it's less than that, but it shouldn't be any more than 5 minutes. So now if I click present right here, I'll put this slide in the middle one. So you can see it goes from this slide to one I'm working on to this one. But if I click present right here, this is what parents would see or students would see. It's going to skip over that slide totally. It's not going to show it. It's not going to showcase it for other people to see. All right. One last thing, as I mentioned, so I've got my wooden sign again. I did the transparency, which is the way to do that. Some of the other cool stuff that she's got going on here. This background here, if I look at this gray block here, so if I take any, I'm just going to grab one of these shapes here. So right in the icon up at the top here, looks like little shapes. She used this one, but you could use any of these if I want a smiley face or a lightning bolt or whatever, but I'll use this one right here. So there's a shape that's got kind of borders on it here. I can adjust the background color. If I click the paint bucket, maybe a little bit darker. If I want to put text in here, if I double click in there, I can start typing. And I can change that just like you would on a text box. Let's say I make that white so we can see a little bit better and a little bit bigger and all that same kind of stuff. So that's what she's got going on for the border. One thing you may not notice about or kind of wondering about, if you add a shape, these little yellow dots, if I put my cursor on that, what that will do is it will adjust a certain component of, let me keep going here. So I'll give you a better example here. I'll do the shape with a little smiley face right here. So if I add the smiley face shape, which is good, I'll make the background, of course, we want it yellow. So I'll click on the paint bucket. We'll make it a nice bright yellow. And we'll make the line in it a little bit thicker so we can see it a little bit better. And we'll make it black. Okay, so if I click on, you see this little yellow dot here, if I want to make him smiling or frowning or somewhere in between, that's what that little yellow icon, I know it's kind of hard to see yellow and yellow, but that's what that will do for it. All right, I think we're good with slides. We've done most of the slide stuff. Hopefully that helps, Gail, as far as what you're looking for. I do want to talk a little bit about Tour Builder before we wrap up today. We're going good almost 45 minutes now. But if you have any questions, as always, let me know. You can jump on and either add it to the rshow19.info on the question and answer, or throw it in the chat if you're live. So the last thing I just wanted to share today as far as another tool, this is just like extra credit if you want to play around with this. Yesterday we talked about Google Earth web version because, we over April vacation, a lot of us weren't able to go anywhere. Most of us, hopefully all of us, weren't able to really kind of leave the house. So we're going to do virtual field trips, or as close as we can. And so using another tool that's like Google Earth, it's just not quite as intensive as far as bandwidth or that kind of stuff, is called Tour Builder. Because if you were thinking Google Earth first, and then I'm adding slides to that, like either pictures or videos or text. So if I want to do a presentation, if I want to have students or maybe other people in the audience go on a virtual tour based on geographical locations, that's what I would use. I'd use Google Earth and go that way. If I'm thinking first of a slideshow first, but I want to have a geographical element to that, this is kind of the way to do it. This is a really good tool for that. Tour Builder. .withgoogle.com. You just connect it to your Google account. In fact, you notice up here at the top, it says create, share, and collaborate, story in 3D. So they're really pushing Google Earth as well. So I would use this one if I wanted specific features that have. Otherwise, I would use the Google Earth version. So this would be a case I really specifically need something that it offers that's different. So I'm just going to show you a tour that we've done. This is one that my boys did. I mentioned last time. So this is a trip to New Zealand. We did a couple of years ago. So here it is. Now, if I zoom in here, this looks like, it looks like Google Earth, but it's more like Google Maps, where you're kind of doing a 2D top-down view of it. You can do 3D views of it if you do it at an angle, but really it's designed to be kind of top-down, flat, looking at you're doing a trip, basically. So I'm going from here to here to here. Over here, you can add different images if you want, so you have your own pictures, but it's really meant, so if you share this link with somebody, they can just click next, and it will walk them through place by place. And you'll notice here it kind of zooms in. It's the same idea. This is a 360 view here. Same idea as we did with the Google Earth one, but it's just a little bit less, I can't say fancy. It's also a little bit easier to use. So if you had younger students that you want them to walk through, this is a little bit easier to use in the Google Earth one. They are connected. If I do want to save one and pull it up in the other one, I would save that as that KML file. So a KML file is the geotag file that has this information in it that you could upload into the other one. So if I had a tour like, okay, I'm all done with this, I want to now move this into the Google Earth one, that's what I would use to do it. And you notice here the slideshow is kind of showing the different pictures. Hit an animated GIF here, the Maori village we visited. Again, you can click through. So this was just a little bit different version of what we did yesterday, but I still think it's worth mentioning. So if you have students that this makes more sense to them, depending on what they're trying to do here, there's another 360 image here you can add. Cool. So that was tourbuilder.withgoogle.com. All right. I think with that, I didn't see any more questions for the day. Awesome. So we will tomorrow, I want to make sure I tell you the right thing. I believe we are doing, yes, citizen science. Okay, so tomorrow, last week was Citizen Science Week, which I missed, I didn't realize, but that's okay. We're going to talk about that today. So we'll do a whole session on different activities that your students, very, very young, all the way down to elementary grades, all the way through to high school, can do right now to do real science in their homes with scientists doing it virtually, like doing, looking for animals in Africa, looking for planets, exoplanets in different galaxies away from us, all kinds of real type of really cool scientific things that they can do and different activities that you can implement depending on what you're looking to do with your kids. So with that, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks a lot.